Hey guys, it's Chelsa Messenger with Picks Parlays. College football is finally here. We've got a nice little promo code for 20% off the entire site at picksandparlays.net. The code is NFL20. We've got a full slate of games to talk about. Right now, we're diving into UAB and Miami. The Hurricanes are favoring this one minus 13.5. The total sits at 54.5. Craig Trapp is here to talk this football matchup that we've been waiting for so long to see some of these big time programs play. And Miami is one of those teams that has a whole lot of hype surrounding them, especially because they have that new transfer quarterback, D'Eriq King, coming over from Houston, who had 50 touchdowns for Houston. All kinds of numbers, all kinds of stats. Will he be good for Miami? Craig Trapp, what do you think? Do you think he's going to be good in the opener? Do you like the Canes in this one?
Well, I think when you have to look at this offseason, so I think the offenses in most cases are going to be behind the defenses. I think that's usually the case in week one, but I think it's going to be even more the case because just the odd off season that we see where they didn't get into camp late. A lot of them had to miss time because of positive COVID test, all that kind of stuff. So I think that in general, I think the defenses are going to be ahead of the offenses. I definitely think that's the case in this one. UAB did not look good against Central Arkansas last week. Usually, I would say having a game under your belt gives you an advantage, but not when you play bad like UAB did. And facing King and company, he is explosive, and it's not just throwing the ball. He can really run, too. So I think Miami, they've been looking for a quarterback for what, 10, 20 years, it feels like, since Ken Dorsey left, for however long that has been. And, I mean, they've had the defense, and Manny Diaz led some of those great defenses. Now, of course, he's the head coach. And I think Manny Diaz is probably licking his chops like, we don't have to win every game with our special teams and defense. Now we actually have an offense. I love Miami here at minus 13 on opening Thursday night. I just think UAB, they just don't have the speed. I mean, who has the speed? No one has the speed to match up with Miami most years. And I definitely don't think it's going to be UAB.
Right. Miami always has the athletes, especially when it comes to their defense. And I remember last season in their opener, I think I picked against them, and I'm pretty sure they covered against Florida. So now I feel like I have to go the other way. But when you're a team like UAB that's not used to facing these type of teams, and especially in their first game, they faced an FCS team, which you can imagine the talent level is just going to be different. It's different in football when the size is definitely an issue. I think Miami is going to have a lot bigger guys, especially when it comes to defense. And this year, I think they're going to be able to score a lot because in the past, I would say 13 and a half is a big number for a defensive minded team to cover. But I think D'Eriq King is a good Band-Aid for any offense because, as you mentioned, he can run the ball as well, rush for over 1,500 yards last season.
Well, and let's be honest, Diaz is a defensive coach, so I'm sure he's going to be like, hey, let's just don't turn the ball over because we obviously have more talent on defense. We obviously have more talent on against than UAB on both sides of the ball. Let's just don't turn the ball over. And that was issue when they did get in trouble in games. It was his turnovers. I think they'll play a little closer to the vest, and I think that helps them because it'll give them a chance to get to all these great athletes in Miami. And I think Miami wins big here. I think they probably win by 3+ touchdowns.
Right. And I think you almost see that probably in the number because I looked at the total and I thought 54.5 was pretty high for this Miami team. But I think the odds makers think it's going to be a scoring fest for Miami.
Yeah, I was thinking 31-14 type game, 31-10 type. So, I stayed away from the total in this one just because we've seen these Miami defenses be so good in the past that UAB might not score a whole lot of points unless it's, late in this one. And I think that's why you just take the side here and lay the big wood with Miami as a big number here in opening Thursday game for Miami.
Right. And maybe we'll see the turnover chain or maybe the turnover mask
Yeah,
or something new for the pandemic.
I'm sure.
All right. That's going to do it for UAB Miami Talk here on Picks and Parlays. Good stuff from Craig Trapp. Best of luck to everyone. Thanks for tuning in.